Hello everyone, we are live again on YouTube and LinkedIn, bringing you yet another exciting episode of our Top Innovator series. This is where we dive into proven leadership ideas, game-changing strategies, and of course, the brilliant minds behind them. I'm Joseph Martens, your host, and I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today. With us today is Geetha Kumari Kommepalli. Geetha is the VP of Digital and IT at Skillsoft, a company that creates transformative learning experiences. Before this role, she's been in various other tech executive roles, and she's also on the Forbes Technology Council. She's a Gartner Peer Ambassador, and she is in the MIT CIO community. Geetha, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
I'm so happy to be here, and thanks for having me here, and thanks for the wonderful introduction, by the way.
Thank you. My pleasure. And that's what we want to do, highlight your journey, right? So that's why I started off that way. Now, what I would love to dive into with you is your leadership experience and hear something about your leadership journey, what got you to where you are today. Now, clearly, very, very successful and accomplished journey. And when you reflect on that, I'd be curious to hear, what do you think are some of the ingredients for your success? What do you think are some of your leadership nuggets that got you to where you are today?
That's a great question, I would say, because I'm just flashing the whole journey I had last 24 years when you asked that question quickly. Excellent. So my leadership journey, it's been 24 years into the industry. So yeah, it's a lengthy journey, I would say. So I strongly believe in the true success formula I've been following since the day one. Do the right thing at the right time in the right way. That's it. It is that simple, I would say. Maybe complicated to understand, but it is that simple.
Yeah.
So I always look into that formula where things I do place it. And as I say, it's again, leadership is an art, I would say. In my own words, you should be able to connect the dots between the technology, people, and the current industry trends that's been going on and the situations that has to deal with. So when you're able to view the things from that lens, it becomes easy to come up with the impactful solutions that you could add value there.
Yeah, you said that it's basic or that it's easy, right? To do what we say we would do and to do the right thing. And in reality, that might be the hardest thing to do because it deals with integrity, it deals with accountability, it deals with taking ownership of where we are. And these are sometimes the difficult nuts to crack. I'd be curious to hear, what is some advice that you got on your journey? Who were some of the trusted advisors, some of the people who influenced your journey, and what message did they share with you?
Very early stages of my career, I had an opportunity to work with the wonderful persons in the industry. I would say I was in consulting, in fact, the first 10 years in my career when I started. So it was great to see how, the most complex projects you're dealing with. It was not a fun, right? More than $100 million budget projects. So there is hundreds of people involved and having a bigger accountability. With ownership. That's where I heard from one of the leaders in Deloitte, I must emphasize, saying that always be a role model. Doesn't matter at what level you are. To the people around you, be a role model. Do your best. What you believe is right, do that. So as you rightly said, yeah, sometimes that's a hard nut to crack. But at the same time, when you're very sure about the clarity and intentions around it, and how you communicate, that's a game changer, I strongly believe in. So once you start establishing the reputation, I know it's like in the initial stages, it's not that easy, but when you start delivering the things that would add value there, how they may not be looking in the short wins, but at the long run they are the ones. So that's where you prove, let your work speak. So do the best, and it may be hard initially, but eventually you will prove, and your
Yeah.
work will speak on your behalf. So that's what I strongly believe in.
Yeah.
And be grateful for what you achieved. Don't expect others to judge you, others to validate you. Always be a self appreciation. Do appreciate yourself. That's
That's
where it took some time for me, as the initial 10 years. By the time I learned those ones, after going through the initial tough phases of the career, how to navigate the complex communication situations and all that. So it helped me, the way you look into the things, so that you start appreciating yourself and you start appreciating others.
yeah.
So I strongly believe in what you give, what you get.
Yeah.
So that's a reflection, right?
I want to dive deeper into one thing you said there, because you said it like it's the easiest thing to do, and I'm not sure it is. Finding, I'm not getting your words right now, but it was to the effect that you find validation in yourself, and you're not
Yes,
looking at other people. Did I get that right? And you're not looking for others to
that's
provide the
right.
validation or to give you the acknowledgement. Now,
Yes.
yes, 100% yes. And how do you get there? Because most of us, of course, look for validation from other people, right? We want to look good in the eyes of other people. We want to be right in the eyes of other people, or want the praise of other people. Did you set off on your journey like that, knowing this, or was there a turning point where you got to that? Say more about that.
Very early stages of my career, I believe, the first 3, 4 years.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was when I was going through a tough phase, like, oh, how to get appreciation, how others can be feeling
That's it.
comfortable about
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Others may be validating me. That's where, as I said, one of the leaders I met has mentioned, you're putting your whole effort
Mm-hmm.
in it, and don't look for everyone others to validate you. As long as you believe, start believing in yourself. So I know it's not a overnight journey. It takes time to
Mm-hmm.
practice that, as it's like a meditation, right? When you sit in a
Okay.
calm environment, as they say, when there is so much dust, when you start focusing on it, and you see a lot of thoughts coming that doesn't make any sense, but over a period of time, when you practice it, that's where you gain the control of things. So like that, it took some time for sure, but when you have a focus on it and you start practicing that, it's a process. You need to trust the journey. So when
Mm-hmm.
you start practicing it over a period of time, you achieve, it's maybe keep 3 months, 6 months, and how you can evolve yourself, keep
Yeah.
tracking your progress. It takes time, as I say, but
Yeah.
it's not impossible. It's all about stick to the process. Keep
Okay.
your
Okay.
focus.
Okay. Now, the question is, what's the process, right? Tell me what the process is, because I imagine there is independence in that, right? Because
Yes.
if we're chasing someone else's acknowledgments, there is a
Uh-huh.
dependence, and I put myself into someone else's judgment. So again, how do you get there? Any clues that you have there? How to get that detachment, that independence, that focus on my inner confidence?
Um, Somebody introduced me a book called "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay.
Okay.
That has changed my thought process, how I perceive the things. I know there are multiple people keep saying, because everybody have their own personal opinion,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. So you no need to. So one thing I understand is you cannot change how others react or respond to you, but you can always change how you can avoid reacting and start responding, and what you can consider versus what you no need to really take it into account, take it personally. So
Awesome.
that's where
Mm-hmm.
when initially when you start this process, it's very tough, as you rightly say. There are people maybe have little control on us at workplace or at home, anywhere, right? At home you have more emotional bonding, so people try. At work they have little authority on you. They will try.
Right, right.
So odd. But the one thing, I do remember my mom said when I was very little, um, do your best. So though you have that no need to look for others validation, then it's easy for you to protect yourself. When you are too good at your what you do, it's easy for you to fight. If there is a need to fight, you no need to, but in case there is a need, yes, you can.
Okay.
So that hit me. That stuck in my brain so hard, like, yeah, that's true, right? So
Yeah.
I always been be a topper in the school. Then that's how I was. So my mom said, as when others are feeling jealous of you, that's your victory, isn't it?
Okay.
I,
I
so
love
if
it.
anybody says something you cannot do, that's where a little monster in me wakes up. It's like, oh my God, I should do that.
Yeah.
So you should do it. And so yeah, that's the, I don't know how people label it. Somebody who couldn't compete with you call it as an attitude. Somebody who see you as a role model say it inspiration. So you don't need to worry about that. Just be be at your best.
Yeah.
So just start saying, yeah, you did your best. It's
Yeah.
okay. If somebody didn't like it, maybe they didn't understand. Right? We all have different perceptions. So that's where I strongly believe in. I do my best.
Yeah.
I try
Nice.
my best to
Yeah.
explain how I could add value, but at the same
Yeah.
time, as I no need to prove or get invalidation from everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the simple mantra, do your best, right? And the coach in me immediately asks, well, who decides what is the best, right? And you're adding, you're the one who decides. And that's awesome. Because if we do our best and aim to do this in the eyes of someone else, that's where it gets risky. And I really like how you unpacked this and how you got to that point. That's awesome. And I wanted to dig deeper there because you set it up first as if this is as easy as ordering some strawberry ice cream. And it really isn't, right? There's some inner challenges to that to get there. Awesome.
Yeah.
What other, if any, were there any other insights that you had over your journey where when you think of this now, you ask yourself, how could I ever think this way? How could I ever believe this is true? How did I ever do something like this in leadership? So I'm curious to see if there were any turning points, any aha moments that you had, any other moments where you shifted gear.
In my journey, I was always, I don't really um, been like any scared of anything that I want to try new. I don't know whether I'm a risk taker or not, but I always believe in when an opportunity comes to you, don't look into oh, do I know it or know how I'll be successful? Don't ever start doubting yourself. You are way bigger and stronger than your doubts and fears. So that's the mantra I keep saying to myself every night before I go to bed. I prepare myself when I wake up. So that's where I always take, I was always there to jump in if something comes on my way, and I'm a quick learner. Having said that, there you no need to be prepared for everything, but all you need to be is be ready to take up, be curious, be ready to learn, and you may hit some roadblocks, you may hit some hard surfaces. It's okay. It's okay to take up. I always look into everything I do. It could be personal or professional. Take the lessons learned from.
Yeah.
So we might have done something in the very early stages that may, because of it's not that we want to do that way because we don't know the better way of doing. It's always how you evolve yourself, teaching yourself like, oh, is there anything I could have done better? So that's how you start taking the lessons learned and improve
Nice.
yourself, upskilling yourself, be a lifelong learner. It's not that you always be learning from somebody about you. It's okay to learn from anyone, including my 11 years old son. So he teach me a lot of things. So that's what I'm like. Just being that open mindset to
Okay.
learn. As soon as you learn something, oh, this is a different way of doing. Let me give it a try. So nothing hurts. So yeah, so that being open and ready and be that lifelong happy learner, I would say. So learning is one thing, right? So I strongly believe in, as a kid, we might have seen when we were going through that initial phase of learning, the little ABCD learning is so tough. But if you look back, how you find it's so funny that the way you've struggled, right? So when I'm going through my kid's journey, I keep feeling that, oh, how he was 2 years before to now, the same with all of us. So whether we accept it or not, it's all about, be that happy learner. When you start, enjoying something, finding a joy in it, the profound joy in it, that's where the learning becomes, very clear and more intentional and, purposeful.
Love it. Thank you. Absolutely love it. Now, we talked about your journey in the past. I would like to shift gear here for a moment and focus on today and take a look at where you are today. This is not a question about roles, positions, companies or so, but I'd be curious to hear, when you look at your leadership style, your leadership capabilities, all of what you bring to leadership, what are some areas where you're focusing on right now? What are some areas where you say, this needs my full attention, I need to pay attention to this, this is what I'm working on right now?
It's so relevant to the current trend, the AI thing going on.
Okay.
It's like a storm. It has taken, how things are evolving. Every day we've been seeing some changes, right? Every organization is in that race of artificial intelligence. So that's where, it too, because I strongly believe technology is a strategic enabler. It's no more that, IT support thing anymore. So that's where I strongly believe in how we could leverage the cutting edge technologies that's been going on. It's not about, every organization is, current situation is different. Their affordability is different. What is priority for them is different. I think, when I attended a Gartner's conference a couple of years before, one of the keynote speaker was, I do remember the session was very interesting. One organization maybe where they have the technology products to be developed and, be ready with the AI and all. There may be another organization where they want to focus more on their products, the manufacturing thing, how they can enlarge or scale up their business and all that. So it's all about how you prioritize what matters. It's not a rat race or something that you need to compete with XYZ firm because of they've been ahead of AI journey, or they've been ahead of, it's all about what fits, what is right for you. As I said, the right thing, right time, right way. So yeah, it is good that we want to leverage cutting edge. At the same time, when we don't know, I mean, where to apply that to take full advantage to the current situation, to the particular company, then it would be a lot of, time and effort costing. So we need to be a little careful how we do the things.
Yep.
So that's where I believe in. It's good to put some little effort there, do the due diligence, where things would fall in my plate. So how I can align, how I can be a right strategic partner, be a right advisory to the IT advisory to the business, be the trusted partner and all that. So that's where I,
Okay.
I truly focus on, um, rather than just looking into the just getting competing with the race is not important.
Yep.
Everybody has to go through their own race based on what is important for you and what is
Yep.
priority for you.
Yep. Got it. So more of a forward-looking focus, more of
Mhm.
the. Yep. Got it. Um, let's project into the future
Mhm.
and take a look at leadership in the future. And particularly as you see it in your own journey. And again, not a question about roles, companies, positions or so. It's a question again about leadership and how we engage in leadership. If we were to have this conversation in 3 years, 5 years or so, what do you think would be different then? How do you think you as a leader will be different in a few years compared to today?
So definitely, I see myself where I'm in a bit more interested in where I would add value. Last 6, 7 years, I've been on majority of the time on mergers and acquisitions. Somehow, it's not that by choice I have taken, but something that came in and that excited me.
Okay.
I grabbed it. But definitely, I see where I have that ease to navigate through how I can help of being a technology leader with the digital transformations. It could be the TSAs quickly closing. It could be the IT integrations. It could be mergers and acquisitions, IT integrations, filling all the skill gap, building the high performing teams. With that being my core skills, I definitely see nowadays the majority of the industry, especially the companies, are thinking about having a IT leader in their board of directors, because
Mm, yeah.
nowadays IT has been a key. So that's where I definitely look for such kind of a thing where I would add a lot of value, I believe, because I enjoy each and every role I did so far thoroughly. So now I strongly believe as that's the reason why I've been part of a lot of communities like Forbes, Gartner,
Right.
MIT,
Yep.
and all. So I definitely see um, there is a potential that IT leaders could play a good role, being in that, having that blend of expertise with the business and the IT and the industry, the combination.
Yep.
It's a little rare to get it. So I definitely see that I would add value there.
Okay. Awesome. That's a pretty clear vision. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
sharing that. Yeah. Geetha, this has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, hearing about your leadership journey. Something that will really stick with me is the do your best in your own mind. And you brought it up later again, right? The race that we run is just against ourselves, which is
Mhm.
a similar way of looking at that. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here and hearing about your journey, Geetha.
It's my pleasure too. Thank you so much for having me, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Awesome. To everyone else out there, remember to like, subscribe, and join us again for our next podcast on the Top Innovator series. And until then, keep your brain cells active.